What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Keith One-Time Thurman. Of course, Keith One-Time Thurman was just interviewed, I believe it was by Fight Hub, and he mentioned Terence Crawford. He states that Terence Crawford, he has no interest in fighting. He says, that fight doesn't interest me. They might try to entice me with that fight, but that fight has never interested me. He said he doesn't respect Terence Crawford as a welterweight. He said, in fact, the only time when the Amir Khan fight was mentioned is when he mentioned it. So he offered Terence Crawford to be his matchmaker. He was like, hey, you want me to be your matchmaker? Because that's when I offered you that, you know? So a lot of people start throwing names out. And Kell Brook's name came up, you know? And Keith Thurman was like, hey, if you fight Kell Brook, beat Kell Brook, you'll get more respect for that. Except the Jeff Horn and the Benavidez fight, you know? And the Khan, you'll get more for beating Kell Brook because there wasn't a lot of welterweights that beat Kell Brook. How many people has really beat Kell Brook? He had a decent point. But Keith Thurman, this is what I had to say about Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman can first of all say, well, Jeff Horn beat or tied with Manny Pacquiao, which a lot of us don't believe. But then don't give Terence Crawford credit for beating him. Well, he said he toyed with him, but he didn't really legitimately give him credit. He just said, oh, well, when Terence Crawford was in the traditional stance, the orthodox stance, he couldn't get him out of there. That's why he switched. So no, that wasn't giving him praise or credit, okay? That was actually criticizing what he couldn't do from a certain stance. So that was it was like a derogatory statement. And him not having interest in fighting Terence Crawford, you know, that sounds a lot like Mikey Garcia, because Mikey Garcia said that same shit. Remember that? That's why he avoided the Terence Crawford fight and fought Errol Spence, because he wanted to fight Errol Spence because Errol Spence wasn't that guy that moved around, yada, 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 like Mikey Garcia mentioned. All right? Now Keith Thurman is saying the same thing. And speaking of Mikey Garcia, he was like, well, I was interested in the Mikey Garcia fight. I'm like, well, why were you interested in the Mikey Garcia fight? And you wouldn't try to fight Terence Crawford, which is coming up. But you'll be offered in fighting that guy. You know, Keith Thurman, I like Keith Thurman. I like his attitude to a certain degree. I like that he's outspoken. I like the fact that he believes what he's talking about. That means he's confident in his intentions. But one thing, and a lot of things that he's lost a lot of stripes for, is first of all his activity, and then second of all his desire to be that guy that he used to be. This doesn't sound like the old Keith Thurman to me. This sounds like some new kind of like Floyd wannabe guy. Think about it. Matchmaking, right? Who did that to Keith Thurman back in the day? Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay? Floyd Mayweather did that to Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman wanted to fight him. He said, well, why don't you fight Errol Spence? Right? And I think he's really been butthurt because he felt disrespected that a guy on a higher echelon, you know, like Floyd would recommend or offer him a fight instead of fight him himself. I know that pissed Keith Thurman off, but Keith Thurman then duplicated that, emulated that same mentality when it comes to fighters that are coming to his division. But Keith Thurman needs to understand, it's not about weight classes. It's about who's the better fighter. And Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, these guys have showed that it didn't matter if you were originally in 147 in that division. It didn't matter if you were originally there to begin with. That does not matter. What matters is who's better when they get there. And Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, right? These guys have proven, even though they weren't originally welterweights, they're able to beat the current welterweights. That's what Terence Crawford is proving. Now, the thing is, can he do it? I believe he can. And I know Keith Thurman knows that he should never step in the ring with Terence Crawford. That's why he's constantly trying to downplay that fight, people. He's just trying to downplay it like he felt Floyd was trying to downplay him. Sure, you would consider Mikey Garcia, that interests you, but Terence Crawford wouldn't interest you in a fight. Why not? But then yet you can offer him fight someone else. Why would you want to fight someone else when that man made it clear that he wants to fight you? You see what I mean? For that reason, and that reason alone, if you're not going to be that hungry guy that wants to take on every challenge and talk about what interests you or not, I hope he loses. You shouldn't be there. Okay? And now if Manny beats Thurman and he does the same Thurman does, okay, I would like someone to retire him officially because he shouldn't be there either. These guys are supposed to fight the best, okay? And that's what we should have. Not people talking about how interested they are in fighting another elite fighter just because they're not interested. That's a cop-out, I feel. That's a way of saying, you know what? I don't really want to fuck with Terence Crawford. So, you know, I'll just downplay Terence Crawford, that he's not that popular, that there's other fights that can be made besides that guy that I'm interested in, you know? So I just want to leave you guys with that. You guys tell me what you think about Terence Crawford, Keith Thurman's comments. Of course, please subscribe. You guys been Counterpunching.